everyone, welcome back to another grammar lesson. So today we're going to continue on with sentences and fragments. Okay, so before we get into it, let's introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Eileen and I'm going into 9th grade.
I'm Dasang and I'll be going into 11th grade.
I'm Grant and I'm going into 9th grade.
Okay, so today we are actually going to be discussing group pronouns. But before you continue with this video, make sure to check out our kind of basic introduction to pronouns in our Parts of Speech series, which I think will be linked in the card above when we do edit this. But let's just continue. Today we are specifically covering pronouns referring to groups, as the name implies. So Grant, take it away.
So a review, first before we get into the group pronouns, we're going to do a bit of a review of pronouns that we kind of covered in the Parts of Speech video that Dasang was talking about. So let's do a basic review. So pronouns basically just replace nouns. And an example of replacing a noun would be the tomato grows. So this is a sentence, and then if we wanted to replace the noun, the tomato, then we would make it into it grows. So in this case, it is the pronoun. Then next, subject pronouns are pronouns that can replace nouns as subjects. So the most common subject pronouns are going to be it and they.
Okay, and now we just have a list. I'm not going to read off all of these, but this is just a list of pronouns that can replace subjects, meaning that they're subject pronouns in a sentence. I kind of categorize them into pronouns that refer specifically to people, like I, you, she, and things like that, the ones that we encounter a lot, as well as pronouns that can refer to things, it, as well as all of these with thing as the ending. And there's also pronouns that can refer to people or things, like one, none, each, both, and most. So those can refer to either one of them, but they all replace subjects in a sentence.
Okay, so now we're going to explain what group pronouns are. So they're basically pronouns denoting a multiple of something. So like hence that's where you get group from. So they're both independent and dependent clauses. Dependent clauses are also known as fragments. Independent clauses are also known as sentences. So sentences and fragments can both be formed when group pronouns start off a sentence. Here are some examples. So there's some, several, few, many, and others. And as you see, they're all refer to many things.
Okay, so example sentence would be many are grown in greenhouses around the world. So it doesn't say that, there's no sentence before it, but in this case, many is replacing tomatoes. It says it here. Okay, so the pronoun acts as a subject to replace a noun, tomatoes, because the subject and a verb that corresponds to it are present. So the subject is many, and the corresponding verb in this case is are. And then it can also be followed by the phrase of them, but it can also be used by itself. So you can have by itself, which is just what we have up here at the top. Many are grown in greenhouses around the world. Or you can have the sentence down here. It says most of them believe that tomatoes are vegetables.
Okay, and so those are pronouns that can denote sentences. Now I'm gonna kind of transfer to pronouns that indicate fragments. So basically, when you have an indefinite pronoun and it's kind of followed by of which or of whom, that kind of creates a dependent clause or a fragment, which means that it cannot be a complete sentence because there is no subject and a verb corresponding to that. So I have a few fragments here. One of them says, many of which are grown in greenhouses around the world. So in this case, we see that of which is following many, which is a group pronoun. And because there is this of which, this phrase is considered a fragment. There's no subject, there's no like many of them, there's no them. And obviously then there won't be a corresponding verb with that. And now we have another one with of whom, many of whom believe that the tomato is a vegetable. Well, we don't really know like what whom is referring to, and usually these are what I call the other W words, of which and of whom, and just remember that they form fragments.
Okay, so now we're going to go over some examples and we're going to see if they're correct or incorrect. Okay, so the first one is the tomato is used by cooks around the world. Most of them believe that it's a vegetable. So that's incorrect because that's like two independent clauses. And so there's a pronoun of them, and that's equal to a sentence or in a conjunction. Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, G. Just to clarify, because it is considered a separate sentence, you can't combine these two with just a single comma. So you have to use either a period, a semicolon, or and a conjunction. There's supposed to be and over there, but sorry about that. Okay, and now I have this example. The tomato is used by cooks around the world, period. Most of them believe that it's a vegetable. So this one actually is correct because we have, again, the pronoun of them here, and that indicates that it will be a separate sentence and independent clause, and the example here correctly includes like a period right before most of them, so that's why it's correct.
Okay, and the last example here, the tomato is used by cooks around the world, most of which believe that it's a vegetable. So this is correct because we have the complete sentence at before the comma, and then you have the most of which, and then so that's a fragment, and that's after the comma.
Yep, and that kind of concludes our discussion on group pronouns. Group pronouns can actually be kind of confusing, so if you do have any questions, you can check the description box for our contacts. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about pronouns, hopefully more than our Parts of Speech series. And yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and please ring that notification bell so you know that when we upload next. We do upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.
Bye.